Qui ci troviamo a Juba, la capitale.
We are in Juba, the capital of South Sudan, in the Don Bosco village called Gumbo. There is a large refugee camp. These mothers have been coming here every night for over a month, because not in the refugee camp but in the village near us, there were tribal fights, rape. The rebels came and took everything away, clothes, money, food, and they have nothing with which to live. These few words would be enough to say what Juba, the capital of South Sudan, since July 2011, when it became independent of the federal state of which it was part, has been. But the peace lasted very little, because only 2 years later the civil war broke out between the Dinka and the Nuer. The conflict between the two tribes began well before independence and continues to be the constant condition in which the country lives. Moments alternate in which it is one tribe to have the better of the other and vice versa. To pay the consequences of the people who in the thousands flee to refugee camps like the camp started by the Salesians of Don Bosco. Two were the great waves of migration caused by as many conflicts that spread throughout the territory. One in 2013, after which the refugee camp run by the Salesians was established, and the other in 2016, a year in which clashes also took place in the city of Wau that motivates the hospitality of the Salesians in favour of thousands of displaced persons.
Well, this IDP camp began in the year 2013, December 16 onwards. On December 16th, when the war broke out between Vice President and the President, the hundreds of people have come into Don Bosco compound on a Sunday evening. That is how the camp started. We never intended to start a camp. The camp began naturally. They were with us almost a month. They were sleeping in the church and also in the school, secondary school. When the secondary school began in the month of January end, there was no place for us to keep them. So we have to look for tents and we have to keep them under the tents. That is how the camp began. So at present we have got more than 18,000 people who are staying in Don Bosco IDP camp. There are more than 22 tribes existing in the camp. All the families are headed by women. The women are the heads of the family.
Now I stay here because it's here that I have my house.
Forage di mais.
I have 2 children, but I also take care of the children of my sister who died. In all, there are 8. Now I'm here because the children go to school. Selva has been in Juba since 2013 due to the war and after losing her husband. My village is too far away. I do not have the money to go back, and it's dangerous. I will stay in this house that the Salesians have given me until there is peace. With the neighbors, I have no problems. We help each other. If I one day do not have something, I ask them, and they give me a hand. The second great wave of refugees fleeing from the tribal struggles arrived at Don Bosco camp in the summer of 2016. When claims and battles resumed, making a battlefield of South Sudan and pushing thousands of people to Juba or to the border with Kenya.
Eravamo ormai nel pomeriggio e stavamo per ritirarci quando a un certo punto
I want to talk about what happened on August the 16th, 2016. We were by then in the afternoon and we were about to retire when shooting began all around the city of Juba. We thought of one of the many shootings, but it was getting closer and closer and the bullets looked like fireworks. They climbed in the sky, fell on the tin roofs with an impressive noise. I was with many children around and I asked myself what to do. I said, let's kneel down and go to a sheltered place. There was a chapel there in a corner, and let's recite the Holy Rosary. We recited 4 rosaries, and in each rosary the shooting seemed to diminish. I believe that Our Lady protected us, because despite the shooting, there were no deaths. The prayer of the Rosary, so dear to Don Bosco, is one of the simple characteristics that accompany the evangelization of Salesians. Their way of evangelizing in a multi-religious and often openly hostile context is always based on personal testimony, never based on an imposition. And the prayer of the Holy Rosary, with its sing-song sweetness, is recognized by all as a maternal way of welcoming, consoling, and entrusting to God infinite suffering, such as those lived in a refugee camp.
Intanto, in quelle ore, fino alle
Meanwhile, in those hours, until 11 p.m., people came from all directions to groups according to their villages of origin. Some of them told us, we left this morning at 8, now it's 8 p.m. We walked for 12 hours. Exhausted, hungry, we gave them everything we had to eat in the containers. Then we put them in classrooms and in the chapel. We thought Don Bosco would do the same thing. To relieve from hunger is the first commitment of the Salesians. With the arrival of thousands of people and the preparation of part of the mission space in a refugee camp, the Salesians have welcomed with difficulty, but also enthusiasm, the new challenges to be faced.
Well, we have got many activities which we, the Salesians of Don Bosco, we have taken in charge of. Taken the responsibility, I would say it. First of all, every month we distribute to them food. Of course, if the family is big, the ratio also increases. And more or less, we give them everybody the same amount. But some families, when they deserve help, we also try to look into it and we help them. Food distribution is one of the the first activity that we do, and also their children are studying in our Don Bosco primary school. This school, 95% of them are from the camp. Of course, 5% of them are coming from the village, but 95% of them are coming from the camp. I'm happy that to bring to your notice, we became now in the county number 1. Our children from Don Bosco IDP camp, they sat for national exams and we became number 1. So it is a credit goes to our teachers who are teaching to them.
In Juba, there are 3 universities and various high schools. But the most important educational work is done in primary schools such as those run by Salesians with the help and dedication of many teachers. Schooling and educating towards peaceful cohabitation with children of different ethnic groups and religions is very important in a social fabric like that of South Sudan, which is rebuilding itself, starting precisely from the refugee camps. Even Maria arrived because of the war after the killing of her husband. She is in Juba with her 8 children and hopes, among many difficulties, to give them some opportunities. I've been in this camp for 5 years. 6 of my children attend the primary school of Salesians, while 2 others go to a state school here in Juba. I am happy that my children go to school. The 2 who attend school in Juba are in high school. One is in 2nd grade and the other in 3rd. I prefer not to think about the life I was doing in Manakal. I struggle to think about the future. Life in my country is very hard. Even coming here was not easy. And now I am simply in this camp. The Salesians help me a lot. They give free education to my children and food every month. If I finish it first, I can go to them to ask for more. I would like to have a small business, but the problem is the capital to start it. When I was at home, I was selling beans, sugar. I'd like to do something similar. Hey! The livelihood, the possibility of some work for adults, and for the many women that the war has left alone to look after their children, is the other huge problem. A challenge for those like the Salesians, the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians, and the Daughters of Charity, who try to be with the people in a concrete way. Helping women to learn a trade is essential to offer glimpses of independence.
Questo è il progetto agricolo che mira soprattutto a dare.
This is the agricultural project that aims above all to give a job to the mothers of our refugee camp who fled in 2013 and 2016 and found a shelter, a worthy and safe place in our refugee camp.
Facciamo lavorare per preparare la terra per coltivare il mais.
We have them work to prepare the land to grow corn, beans and other products, and give them either a ration of food to take home for the whole family, or we pay them, and in this way they try to become self-sufficient. I would say more. The agricultural project aims above all to convince people here of the place that if they work the land, they can become self-sufficient and produce food for themselves.
Il mangiare.
The Salesian sisters successfully carry out an agricultural project and a zoo technical project dedicated entirely to women. They started in 2017 with 150 women divided into 3 groups. These are 3-year projects with theoretical, practical, and teaching programs including mathematics and English, which aim to provide them with the skills necessary to raise and breed animals. The Daughters of Mary Help of Christians have also conceived the opportunity to help the women who finish the courses to form themselves into cooperatives to have greater mutual support. These women come from the surroundings. They are exiled, about 4,000. Then there are the women of the village who live nearby. All come from the surroundings. They do not come from faraway countries. We try to help them so that they can bring something home. Here the big problem being able to eat. Then, by cultivating the earth, after 3 months, they already have these vegetables, these leaves and drinks, which they prepare very easily. They sell a part, and what is left is for them to eat, and also with what they sell, they can also buy other things. Each of the 18,000 inhabitants of the camp has a very painful history behind them, characterized by the persecution of their own tribe. From the extermination of part of their family, from the desperate flight, and from numerous episodes of violence suffered. Ubu Kamu is 46 and comes from Ye. He arrived at the Juba hospital because he was sick. Then, because of the war, he discovered that his entire family was displaced there. My family ran away and came into this camp, so I started looking for them and found them. I was really lucky. I was very happy. I have 2 wives. With one, I have 6 children, and with the other 7. I can feed my children thanks to the food the Silesians give me. I do not have any jobs here.
This camp is more of a family, because most of them are from here and we speak the local language and we speak Arabic, so we have got a lot of interactions with them.
It is not easy to help everyone to live together peacefully, overcoming suspicion and even the tribal or religious hatred that opposes Dinka and Nuer, Muslims, Christians, and animists. But everyone is learning. That is the only way to live and give the country a future.